About time for another Coach Life. Something weird is happening with YouTube. My last two videos, they're showing that they're uploaded, but they're not sharing. I'm not sure what's going on, but we shall see. I woke up this morning and there was flashing lightning, like, it was like every couple of seconds. But it was not that much thunder, but there was a low thunder, some rain, good wind, and it just felt powerful. And a few other things happened that I'm not gonna bore you with the supernatural, but it is the month of Ramadan. This is when the prophetic word came to Muhammad. It is also various religious holidays. April's very charged this year, and I'm being reminded of a few magical moments in my life, which I choose not to share too often. But it might be appropriate to share a little bit now. So I was engaged at one point and madly in love and on this magical trip. And we decided to co-create something that we passed off to a person that we thought would really appreciate it, and then build the momentum to continue to pass it. So it was a creative work where you kind of contribute to it, and then, it's not an original idea, but it's something that we wanted to do, which felt very true to us. And we met this woman named Veronica. Veronica was the manager at Beechers. It's kind of like what do you call that area? Right up north of Union Square, kind of in between Union Square Park and Madison Square Park. I forget the name of that area, but Gramercy, I guess, but close on Broadway. But anyways, she was the manager at Beechers Cheese, and just had a glow and just was perfectly timed place. So we gave the work to her and said, do what you want with it and pass it along to the next person that you feel should have it. And included like an email, and we, it was one of those things which would change the world. And never heard from her again. Never saw the work again, never got an email, anything. But a few months later, I did run into Veronica. And it was the most bizarre thing. It was just a random New York City, like, oh, I forget where I was, but she was on her way to go see Straight Outta Compton with her boyfriend. And she was like, it's crazy that I'm running into you right now. And I was like, yeah, well, like, what happened to the, I didn't want to press her, but I was trying to politely say, like, no worries, take your time. But also, like, come on, like let's let the energy flow here. You're blocking the energy. But anyways, and Veronica, it's like, it means something about vibration, like. But anyways, she said, it's funny running into you. I'm about to go see Straight Outta Compton with my boyfriend. But, and this was at a time when everyone was talking about Straight Outta Compton. I was like, I don't care about Straight Outta Compton. But, she she said, it's crazy running into you right now because my, not even my friend, like someone I know, but she had a dream that she was telling me about, and I didn't know what to do with it. Because like she's really, people would just tell her dream, like she's like a kind of magical person. She said she told me this dream, I didn't know what to do with it, but in the dream, an angel gave her a white watch with a gold face and said, give it to James. And she said it was so strange because she didn't really know any Jameses. And then when she told me, I was like, well, I don't really know any Jameses. So I guess the dream was for you, and it means to be patient. She said it like, very like she wasn't sure, but um, she wasn't sure in the details, but she was sure that she was supposed to tell me. Very bizarre, but it felt true. And so a white watch with a gold bezel was burned into my memory as something that would be a sign of something. And she went to see Straight Outta Compton, and I thought about this dream for a long time, and I've never seen her again, never heard of the work again. But I did run into the white watch with the gold bezel. The first time was when Nana passed away, and I remembered that I always wanted to travel, and if I don't go now, it is what it is. Like, when people you love pass, mortality becomes a very real option, and you start to do things that matter to you. And one of the things that I completely forgot, partly because of trauma, partly because of just life, time doing what it does, I forgot I always wanted to travel. I went to college as a backup plan and to make Nana proud. I didn't want anything to do with college, but I wanted to travel. I wanted to create, write. I wrote a novel in high school. I don't know how many of you know my story, so maybe I should preface it with I'm a very unique individual off rip. Long story short, I said, okay, Nana passed. I'm out. Like I'm out. First thing I did was I booked a month in Paris and at the Art Hotel, and it cost me less than what rent would have cost in New York, including the flight. So I spent a month in Paris. I think that's kind of what initiated the kind of separation in my relationship at the time. But I spent a month in Paris. I painted like a madman, gave away a lot of work, took advice, like hustled at the galleries, just was absorbing everything. Didn't speak a lick of French. And then, but in doing that, it opened up the opportunity for me to go to Mexico City. And so when Frank was renting out his apartment, I was in Paris at L'Improbable, and I saw he was renting out his apartment, $700 a month. It was amazing, 3-bedroom, whatever. I hit him up, boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to Mexico City, right? White watch, gold bezel. Going to Mexico City, I'm in line, waiting. I'm at like LaGuardia, JFK, in line, waiting to go through security. And there's a kid in front of me with a mohawk, and there's these 3 birds in the airport, flying wonderful, and a feather, one single feather drops from one of these birds, and me and this little kid with the mohawk are the only ones that see it, and he's trying to catch it, and he's locked in. You know how you locked in trying to catch it, and you're a kid trying to catch a feather? Forget about it. So I'm like rooting for him, like, catch that feather, young man. But he missed it the first time because he was so anxious, but he ended up catching it, like not with his hands, but like a chest arm thing. I'm like, yes. And then as he's catching it, I see that there are these Rolex clocks, time things, which have a white face and a gold bezel. And I'm en route to Mexico City. And then I saw more, but that one was a very clear moment where magic was at play. So I felt like it was a good time today to share with you some of these revelations that come, because to a lot of people it might just seem like coincidence, and it could be, but that coincidence is revealing a divine order. And if divinity didn't move through coincidence, like that's the most logic, it's the most logical way for divinity to move. It's the most logical way for something that's profound but doesn't want to be perverted to move. So I could go on for a long time about these little moments. A lot of folks call them synchronicities. We're just developing the language. Like, we're toddlers. We're not even walking spiritually yet, because our language is so limited and front loaded by energies that don't necessarily want us to know our true power. So this is kind of a renaissance, and we're just getting started. So if you feel like a weirdo in your life, and you don't necessarily have the vocabulary to express what you're going through, or you're starting to see colors different, or like the rainbows are popping up a lot, and you're seeing like, wait a minute, that's not just violet, that's like red and blue and violet, and it should all of these things, they actually mean something, and it's a beautiful, beautiful exposure, but it's not necessarily easy. So it helps to have people that you can bounce these things off of. You're gonna have to take it, you're gonna have to form your own foundation of truth. That's part of the beauty of it. We all have the power. It's not like we just need to listen to one person. But you do need folks to co-create with, so you can create synergies and build a significant momentum to get through what you need to get through. It's like if you're a toddler or a kid and you're learning to walk, you start to realize how important momentum is. And so you get that first, like, okay, balance, and then like balance and momentum, boom, balance and momentum, poof. And then once you get the hang of it, you start to get the hang of that, you start to. So we're just crawling, figuring it out. I'm not saying language as like a metaphor, even though language is a metaphor. I'm saying we literally need a new language. So it might be something that was buried a while ago, but we'll begin to develop the words to communicate properly. How, like, synchronicity is one way of describing something that has so much depth and so much complexity. Just to call it synchronicity is like, oh, it doesn't really, it's like calling blue when you mean indigo, or you mean sky blue. You know, in Russian, I learned this recently, in Russian, you're taught to distinguish light blue and dark blue, gobleboy and seen, from, that's part of the language. So you never really say blue, you always say light blue or dark blue, and that's just how it is. And so the language gives you the lens with which to view reality. So you see light and dark blue, you don't just see blue. Obviously there's such a large difference. It's obvious once you know, but if you don't know, like most of my peers, we just say blue, and then we go from there. Like, well, which blue, if it becomes important to know which blue. So anyways, I hope I'm not boring you, this coach life. Pay attention to the little magic, and don't be afraid to keep it to yourself, but understand there are times when you have to share it. So I've kept most of this to myself, and it's just obvious now that I should start sharing a little bit. And also, if you want more info, just hit me up, you know, reach out. Most of you know my information, but if you don't, just send me an email at 49thhour@gmail.com. And link. All right, Coach Life.